Hello, and welcome to the Infinite Escape Room, the puzzling podcast where a group of geographically diverse chums... actually, we're really geographically diverse today. We're like the isosceles triangle of the UK, with Milton Keynes, Milford Haven, and Sheffield. Anyway, have a drink, and work together to solve a homemade escape room of the ears. I'm Mike. Hello. I am drinking a Tiny Rebels Club Tropicana. It's the last one in the house. And it is, or at least I hope it is, hopefully it's not gone off in the hot weather. A delicious tropical IPA. And a little bit strong, so it's the only one I'm having. And joining me this fine, balmy summer evening, we have, and let's go, Alad then Chris.
I'm Alad, and I'm drinking apple and blackcurrant squash with lots and lots of ice.
Have we explained for the American audience what squash is?
I think we have, but it's probably like 100 episodes ago, so we might need to again.
What would they call it?
They don't have it. Like, we're the only the only country in the world that has squash, like, at home.
Really?
As far as I understand. I can double check.
Yeah, it's always really hard to get when you're in, like, Europe. It's
concentrated fruit juice flavouring to add flavour to water.
But like a diluted cordial.
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what Chris said. That.
And we go through gallons of it in the UK, like absolute gallons.
Like, every household will have 5 or 6 flavours in, probably.
Wait, what?
What? Really?
I have
how many flavours in your house, Chris?
Dude, you should see how, like, we have basically a bar in our kitchen, like, both non-alcoholic and alcoholic. And yet we don't drink.
I love the 6 flavours of squash. That feels like maybe the next hipster horizon after, like, breakfast cereal bars.
I'm probably not far off that. I probably must, yeah.
Anyway, and yes, we're also joined by Chris.
So I'm Chris, and I've got an orange juice with delicious ice from my new ice maker, which is very fancy and is making this summer bearable.
Cheeky Prime Day purchase?
No, this was a month or so ago. I needed it. It was getting too hot, and it was a choice. I was saying to Alad earlier, it was a choice between an air conditioning unit and all the problems that come along with that, with like trying to isolate a room and get everyone in the same room and all that I can be asked with, or an ice maker.
Huh, how does it work? I mean, I'm guessing water comes in, ice goes out.
So there's a little, like, water holding, well, there's water in the bottom, which it sucks up into like a tiny little cup, and then there's little prods, little things that come down, little bits of metal that come down, that are the bits that get cold. It holds the water there in the little cup for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. That freezes on. It then drops them off into a little tray. As the cup goes back, it forces a little robot arm to come forward and scoop the ice into a little holder.
That sounds awesome.
It's awesome in operation. Everybody reacts the same way. That sounds amazing. That sounds great until I tell them the price.
What's the price, Chris?
140 quid.
Oh, he's weighing it up.
To be cool in the summer, to have just basically, as far as for our family, it's basically unlimited ice. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think if it came with like a chute attachment that could put it down my shorts for the height of summer, I think that would, that'd work.
I mean, you can just scoop it up and put it down your shorts.
Seems like there's a robotic arm in there already. It should be doing, I feel that it's a robotic one that should be doing the work.
Another robotic arm.
Yes. Another one to unzip me, just to pour it all in to cool me down. Cool down my hot summer gooch. Anyway, that's my bingo. Key phrase for the day: hot summer gooch out the way. So anyway, what is the Infinite Escape Room? Well, it's an escape room, and it's infinite, and it happens in your ear holes and your imagination. One of us will present a part of the Infinite Escape Room, and today it's me, while the others, that's Alad and Chris, try and solve it. And if they don't escape within the allotted time, then they will lose, and very sad things will occur. Oh, and before we kick off, we would just like to thank our fabulous, lovely, glorious, beautiful patrons. That's Chris Cheng, Hill Burton, and Michaela, who support the podcast and keep the episodes online. If you would like to join their ranks of cool, glorious, fabulous dudes for as little as £1 a month, then you can do so at patreon.com/The Infinite Escape Room. You can check out a link in the episode description below. So, gentlemen, are you ready?
We are.
Yes.
Yes, said Chris, through a mouthful of ice that I'd just seen him put in. Christ. Then let's re-enter the Infinite Escape Room.
Ba-da-da-da-dum.
Meow.
Moo.
Bah.
Last time, gentlemen, you went to a lovely wedding and delivered some wonderful truth and pun-filled speeches before starting... Actually, some wonderful truth, pun, and crime-filled speeches, Allard. You were going to set a man on fire before starting a dance conga. The conga somehow congaed you all the way to the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo to be exact, and here you are. You're surrounded by cross-looking folk with guns. You're in the process of putting your hands up and making your apologies shortly before they shush you. Wait a second. These aren't gun-toting military mods. They're a film crew holding telephoto cameras, and in the middle of them, on a raised golden throne, is their king, David Attenborough. He looks down on you, and you kneel as is good and proper.
The intruders enter the territory unwelcome, while the hard-working documentary crew forage for footage of the animal residents of the Congo basin. These unwanted party guests stomp through and scare off the wildlife.
He takes a delicate sip from a glass of wine, which he then crushes in his fist.
The alpha male, Attenborough Maximus, defends his territory fiercely, always conscious that another male might attempt to steal one of his awards.
He lifts himself out of his chair. It's at this point that you realise that the cameras do him no justice. David Attenborough is fucking huge. He is built like a brick shithouse made out of other brick shithouses. His arms are wider than your waist, and he cracks his knuckles and advances on you.
Territorial disputes often result in a sound, non-lethal thrashing.
He pauses as his watch beeps. Everyone around him starts moving away.
But after lunch, it's time for a break, lovies.
He gestures at you all threateningly, his hands like spades made of meat.
You stay right where you are. I'll be back after my union-mandated 30-minute lunch break to give you all the spanking that you deserve.
And with that, he and the crew disappear into a nearby catering tent, zipping the door shut behind them. You are trapped in the middle of the Congo basin, and you appear to have 30 minutes until swole David Attenborough finishes his lunch and beats your asses raw. Your time starts now.
We're in the jungle. Can I have a look around?
Absolutely. You see the jungle clearing where the film crew is setting up. Surrounding the clearing is dense, forbidding jungle. Even if you were to shoulder your way through it, the odds of you being eaten by snakes, stung by dog-sized mosquitoes, or nibbled alive by carnivorous plants is high. The only other thing in the clearing, other than the lunch tent, is a battered jeep. This sits at the top of a track which leads up a hill and perhaps out of the jungle.
Can I just clarify? We're in the jungle.
Yes.
The mighty
the
jungle.
Congo basin.
The mighty jungle.
The mighty jungle.
Where the lion sleeps.
You are in the jungle, the mighty jungle where the lion sleeps.
Cool.
But it's the daytime, I'm afraid. We're just going to break the last bit of that.
It's just stuck in my head now.
I just had to, sorry. Can we have a look at this bastard Jeep?
So you take a look at the Jeep, and it's an honest-to-goodness US Army surplus Jeep. It's green, battered, very uncomfortable looking, and probably immortal. The ignition appears to be rather modern, though, and has a miniature keyboard over the top of it instead of a keyhole.
Okay, can I check the... My brain has blanked on words. The
sun visor.
thing on the left sun visor.
You check the left sun visor and find the reverse of the windscreen. However, rather than expecting you to agonizingly search the rest of the Jeep, I shall assume that you are making a methodical search of it.
No, I was
so,
just getting like the cheesy area where people to hide their keys. Like,
I wish I'd put it there. Well, unfortunately, the ignition for this Jeep is locked with that keypad. But searching the rest of the Jeep, you find a lunchbox and a crumpled risk assessment form.
What's on the risk assessment form?
So the risk assessment form has been half filled out for this shoot. Most of it's kind of boilerplate stuff, but one section catches your attention. It's the incidents section. It reads, Jeff, the producer, got deafened by David A today. He saw a fly on the side of his head and swatted it. Doesn't know his own strength. Ruptured Jeff's eardrum and dislocated his eyebrow. Luckily, he knows sign language. If you need to ask Jeff what anything is, just put your index finger up and move your hand to the left and right. Apparently, this means what is.
So raise your index finger up and move your hand left to right.
Yep. Hello, Editing Mike here. So, you may notice a few bits of sign language in this episode. Now, hopefully, I've not confused and conflated British Sign Language and American Sign Language, which are apparently different. However, if I have egregiously fucked up and squished the two together, then do please let me know, and I'll happily add a correction into the show notes.
Okay, can we have a look at the lunchbox, please?
Sure. It contains some overripe fruit. As you open it, the stench wafts out into the surrounding jungle, and you hear rustling in the surrounding trees, and then stand very, very still as a family of 5 large gorillas lumber out of the depths of the jungle. Quivering with fear, you stay silent as the largest of the gorillas, a gigantic male wearing a cowboy hat, knuckles his way over to you and grabs the lunchbox from your hands. He and his family sit down in the clearing and quickly polish off the fruit, and then sit around, regarding you curiously. You relax slightly.
Can I say hi to the gorillas?
You say hi to the gorillas.
Any reaction from them?
Gorillas don't speak English, but they're just sort of regarding you curiously.
Wait, can I not wave at them? Can I raise my index finger and wave my hand left to right to them, please?
You can. They regard you quizzically. Would you like to approach any of the gorillas specifically?
The largest.
Okay, so the largest of the gorillas is the one wearing the cowboy hat. As you approach him, he sees you, and he starts moving his hands in a series of rapid motions while looking at you rather intently. He appears to be trying to tell you something.
Can I ask him for the hat?
Doesn't understand English.
I gesture to the hat, and I tap the hat and then tap my head.
You gesture at the hat. He doesn't appear to understand you.
Wow.
Can I, raise my index finger, move my hand left to right and point at the hat?
Didn't think about that. He picks up his hat and raises it to you in a little salute.
Can I try and take the hat off his head gently?
We've not set a deposit for this episode. Now would be a great time to set a deposit for the episode. The deposit for this episode are apparently Chris's limbs. Did you know a gorilla is strong enough to pull your arms out of their sockets?
I think that might have answered my question.
What we could do with is Jeff. Because Jeff speaks sign.
Was there anything else in the Jeep?
No, just those items. And I'll just remind you that the ignition has a miniature keyboard over the top of it instead of a keyhole.
Can we have a look at the miniature keyboard? Is there anything special about it? Or is it just...
it's a little alpha keyboard, so it's an alphabet keyboard.
Okay.
You would appear to be able to enter a word to start this vehicle.
How many letters are on this keyboard?
The full set. The whole alphabet.
Okay.
All 26.
Yes, I didn't want to say all 26 because I couldn't remember if that was actually the number of letters in the alphabet, and I thought I was going to embarrass myself. I'm glad that somebody else came in and clarified that.
Beyond the Jeep, is there anything else in this jungle that draws attention?
No, so you just have the Jeep, the large gorilla, the large male gorilla with the cowboy hat, and the 4 female gorillas that form his family. They came in with him.
Can I sign at one of the female gorillas?
Certainly. What would you like to sign?
Hat. That's what we want to sign. How do we sign hat?
Can I do exactly the same sign to one of the females as I did to him? So the index finger up, hand left to right, and point at his hat.
The gorilla sees your gesture, but doesn't appear to understand what you're asking for.
Can we do that for every gorilla?
Sure. You do that for every gorilla. I should probably clarify at this point that the hat is basically set dressing.
We need to get that hat.
This was
can I sign? But instead of pointing at the hat, can I point at the keypad over the ignition?
You sign what? The keypad ignition. And the large gorilla with the cowboy hat that Chris wisely chose not to rob and be murdered by signs at you once more with that series of rapid hand motions. 4 hand motions, in fact. Okay. 4 distinctive hand gestures. The first is the gorilla putting his hands together, forming an 8 on its side? The second, is it pointing at its palm with the index finger of its opposite hand?
Mm-hmm.
The next, is it indicating the little finger with its index finger on the opposite hand? And the final, is it crooking its offhand finger into its palm? Now, that might be a little bit hard to remember, so I'll just pop that in the text chat for
It's okay, I've written it down.
Hello, Editing Mike here. Listeners will be able to find a copy of that image with the gestures in sequence in the show notes.
Can we do the what? Sign language for what is, followed by exactly the sign language that we just got given. So the glasses, the finger on the hand, the point into the little finger, and the hooked index finger.
So the gorilla with the cowboy hat repeats the gestures back at you. However, you notice that some of those gestures are being replicated by the female gorillas surrounding him. There appear to be 4 of them.
Is it being replicated by all of them?
Each of them appears to be replicating a different gesture.
But they are those 4 gestures, nonetheless.
So each of them is replicating a single one of the gestures.
Right, okay. So each gesture correlates to a letter then. I would surmise that the first might be the letter I for eyes, because it's showing like he's peering through eyes.
No idea.
Boom. There you go. That's your first pun of the night.
That's the normal reaction pun should get when Tabby can all agree.
Oh, that was bad. That was bad. Right. Oh, can I, on the keypad, just out of pure... Can I try the letters I, C, U, and then P?
You can. Nothing happens.
Good.
You hear a little... I mean, that would have been great.
Oh, I still think the first one, if he's pointing at his palm, that gives it a P. Then the end of his pinky, that's another P. And then what the hell's the crook? And I'm just trying to work out what letter that crook could relate to.
That answers my other question. I'm assuming this is actually sign language of some sort.
It could possibly be. Did you know that gorillas have been known to use sign language before?
I did, and I think his gorillas were, like a few of them have learnt words.
So famously Coco, the gorilla, San Diego, I think it was San Diego Zoo, knew something like 1,000 words of sign language, but also understood 2,000 words of human language.
Mm-hmm.
I think there has been another gorilla documented to do it, but didn't have as good a name, so I don't remember it. Bobo or something dumb like that.
Sure.
Coco died, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. Age 46, I think.
Oh, that last one's throwing me.
So why do you think... Well, you think that's a P because it's a line going into a palm?
Yeah, I think the first one is I, because it's gesturing as if it's looking through goggles. That would be an I.
So
Or
I,
double O.
So I, P, and then what do you think the third one is?
I feel like it's P again for pinky, but then
or
that
W.
throws it.
Could be W. I don't know why.
What would a gorilla be asking for via sign as well? It's got to be a word,
Yeah.
as opposed to just letters.
And words that... I can't think of a 4-letter word that's IP. That starts IP.
Oh, hang on. What order are the gorillas in, Mike?
It's the large male at the centre, and then surrounding him are the 4 females.
What order are the
What's
4
the
females?
Yeah, what's the one on the far left signing?
So the one on the far left is signing the gesture that looks like this, where the fingers of the one hand are forming essentially a W, and the index finger of the other hand is pointing to the pinky.
Okay, and what's the one to the right of her signing?
The one to the right of her is signing the gesture where the crook of the finger is in the palm of the hand.
Shit. Okay, what's the one to the right of the male signing?
The one to the right of the male is signing with the 2 hands in a circle together, as you describe, like a child looking through goggles.
Shit.
And what's the one on the... Oh, so is the last one then signing...
The palm
with
finger to the palm.
That's correct.
Right, 1 second.
While you do that, Mike, can I try the the following letters in the keypad? F-double-O-D. I want food.
You can. You hear it. Nothing
Can I
happens.
try WQUP?
You do so, nothing happens. 16 minutes remaining.
Thanks. I've just been trying to brute force it. I'm not getting anywhere. No.
Do let me know if you would like a little nudge.
What would a gorilla be signing?
No, it's what would Mike think a gorilla would be signing.
Well, yes.
Which I have a feeling is quite different.
It's the word dicks over and over. Dicks.
Right. Can we try Dick as the...
Oh, you've rumbled me. No, you have not rumbled me. You hear it, knit. That'd be an amazing double bluff, but then I would not do it on an episode with you, Alad, because you would just go straight for it.
Yep. What do you reckon, Chris?
Yeah, we can have a nudge. Go on.
So you're currently trying to interpret the gestures. Chris, you correctly surmised earlier that these are actually sign language.
Mm-hmm.
It would seem that you don't know sign language. I
No.
think this is British Sign Language.
Oh, it's BSL, is it?
But who does?
Jeff does. But he's locked away
Can we
with
read
Attenborough.
the letter from Jeff again for us?
Sure. Risk assessment form, filled half out, most of it's boilerplate. Jeff, the producer, got deafened by David A today. He saw a fly on the side of his head and swatted it. Doesn't know his own strength. Ruptured Jeff's eardrum, dislocated his eyebrow. Luckily, he knows sign language. If you need to ask Jeff anything, just put your index finger up and move your hand left and right. Apparently, that means what is.
Can I do what is and then make one of the letters? Like, let's do the first one. So the W shape. There we go.
Yeah.
W shape and then the finger on the index. No, pinky.
Sure. Which gorilla would you like to do that with?
I don't want to do it to any gorilla. I need to do it to Jeff.
I'm afraid Jeff is nowhere to be seen.
Can we do it to the... right, hang on. Can we do it to the male one? Because he's using all four.
Yeah.
He continues to repeat his sequence of 4 gestures.
Okay.
Well, he's a dick,
Do it
isn't
to
he?
the one on the left.
You do it to the one on the left. She repeats the gesture, the hand in a W, pointing at the finger with the index finger, and then points at you.
So that means you. Okay, and then the one, the next one along, do the palm
The crook.
with the crooked
Yeah.
finger.
Okay, so what are you doing?
Palm with the crooked finger for the next gorilla along.
But we're doing index finger up, hand left, right, and then the hand and
Yeah,
the sign.
sorry.
To ask what is, absolutely. The second female gorilla repeats the palm with the crooked finger gesture back at you, and then makes a sound. It goes, rah, rah, rah,
Okay.
rah.
And then we ask what is, and then the eyes, tell us the binocular eyes for the third one along.
You give the what is hand gesture at the third gorilla, who is doing the goggles, and she makes the gesture back at you, and then points at something in the dirt near her. It appears to be a little bee scribbling around in the dirt confusedly, possibly enjoying the dregs of the leftover fruit.
Okay, and then lastly we ask what is, and then the palm with the index finger in it to the last gorilla.
You make the index finger what is left right gesture at the fourth female gorilla. She repeats the palm and the index finger gesture at you, and then takes her finger and draws a straight line in the dirt. A straight vertical line in the dirt.
Okay. Can I go and type in to the ignition URBL?
You do so, you hear it.
URBI. Sorry, Chris. Steal your thunder.
Can you try URBI?
You type URBI, you hear it.
Oh, bollocks. Can we try to the male gorilla what is, and then all 4 in sequence?
You do all 4 in sequence, so you're repeating the sequence that he's doing them in, yes?
Yes.
Okay, you repeat the gestures in the sequence that the male gorilla does, which is the goggle eyes, as you describe them, the hand to the index finger to the palm, pointing at the pinky, and then in the crook of the palm, and he followed by the what is gesture, and once again he gestures at the ignition of the Jeep.
What happens if I do what is and then in the order of the other gorillas? But I do that gesture at the male gorilla with the cowboy hat.
You get a shrug in return.
Just to rule it out, can we try JEEP as the passcode?
You can. Despite it, that feels like the sort of thing that would be a default factory override, like admin and pass. It does not permit you ignition.
Darn.
9 minutes remaining.
This was a bloody difficult one.
You are on the absolute cusp of it, and I was very surprised you didn't get it.
Right there, right on the edge, yeah?
You are edging yourself something special, Christopher.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully the release when I finally get there will be all the sweeter for that.
Don't call it the rainforest for nothing. Soon it's going to be raining Chris.
There's not a caps lock button on this keypad, is there?
No, it's just the letters.
What was the clue for the second gorilla again?
Yeah, same wavelength.
The second gorilla, you once again make the what is finger up, left to right gesture, followed by finger in the crook of the palm, crooked finger in the palm of the hand. The gorilla repeats this back at you and goes, ruh, ruh, ruh.
It's definitely ruh.
Oh.
What?
Hang on. Is it not an R, but is it in fact a W? Ruh. Mike, can we try UWBI as a passcode?
You do so and you hear it.
Fuck.
7 minutes remaining.
I'm fairly sure that's an L at the end, but...
Straight line down, though. Got to be an I, isn't it?
Do shout if you'd like a hint.
Go on.
Well, the gorilla with the cowboy hat is continuing to sign the 4 same gestures. You might want to refer back to them.
He's doing it in a different sequence.
Yeah, what's the sequence?
He's doing it in B.
Yeah, he's doing B. No. Yeah, B. And then L or I.
I.
Whatever. And then...
well, it's easy.
U.
That's fine.
U.
R. Or
So
W.
Can we try B I U R?
You hear it.
B L.
Can we try B-L-U-R?
You try blur.
Of course.
The Jeep starts up. Interesting fact. Did you know that the band, the Gorillaz, of which the hit single Clint Eastwood is their most famous number, was created by Damon Albarn of Blur, a British pop band, and comic book artist Jamie Hewitt. I just thought I'd drop that one in there while we... But anyway, yes, the Jeep starts up, the timer stops, and the noise of it frightens off the Gorillaz, who scurry into the overgrowth. The sound also summons a very, very cross David Attenborough, who uses his mighty thews to literally pull the lunch tent apart at the seams.
Our imprint is now truly global. Our impact is now truly profound. I shall make a profound impact on you.
Choosing not to be spanked within an inch of your life, you hop in, taxi the Jeep around, and set off down the track, up the hill, and away from the sound of an irate nonagenarian documentarian. You're enjoying your momentary freedom when the ancient accelerator tensioner breaks, the pedal goes to the floor, and the vehicle accelerates up, up, up the hill. It hits the crest, and your stomachs lurch as the wheels leave the ground. Well done, gentlemen. You solved the puzzle.
Oh, that was close.
And you did it with 5 minutes to spare.
For such a simple premise, that was surprisingly difficult.
All you had to do was decode 4 sign language gestures.
That's all.
But I knew. Well, that's the thing. I knew it was actually going to be quite tricky, which is why it was kind of the key bit to all of that. But you did a good job, Chris. You were so close with your first decoding because you got all the letters right, and it was just you didn't go back to that original order that Clint had. By the way, that gorilla was called Clint the whole time. You didn't go back to that original order that he presented.
Was there any way to find out that he was called Clint?
Not really. It was called Clint in my. It was called Clint in my head. I probably should have called him Clint, but I was like, how would they know his name is Clint?
Put a name badge on him.
Ah, that would have been good.
He's got a cowboy hat.
Oh, a cowboy hat with like a sheriff and a Clint.
Sure.
Oh, for fuck's sake, that would have been pretty good. I'm glad that somebody else remembers the Gorillaz, the band. I thought I might have heard them for a while.
They're still on my playlists.
Yeah, mine too.
So good. I listened to their first album in its entirety while I was writing this, and I was just like, this holds up really well.
Yeah. Yeah. I must say I probably only have a few of their songs on my playlist, not whole albums, but that's it's It's pretty unusual for me to find a whole album I want on my playlist anyway.
Go on, if you had to pick one whole album to listen to end to end?
Oh, that's easy.
Go on, Alad.
Hybrid Theory every time.
Oh, classic. That as a whole album, that stands together.
As a whole album, because I've also watched them perform it in its entirety in order.
That must have been pretty amazing.
It was pretty amazing.
So, folks, join us next week. Oh, no, in fact, don't join us next week to find out what happens with this thing happening, because next week we will be starting something a little bit special. We are going to be taking a little break from producing podcasts for a couple of weeks over the summer, and to bridge the gap for your lovely earholes, to make sure that you are not left deprived, Ben is arranging a lovely summer holiday themed 4-parter that will be sitting across the month of insert correct month here, possibly June, possibly July, possibly somewhere in betwixt the two. I'm not very good at working out dates. But yes, so look forward to that. And yes, Summer Haters will come back all vimmed and refreshed. And, basically we've been locked down here in the UK for what feels like 30 lifetimes. And now that things are starting to ease a little bit, we're just taking advantage of the good weather, having a little bit of time with our friends, families, and loved ones. I add the third one there just in case friends and family don't intersect with that last group in the Venn diagram of who people know. Anyway, so thanks very much for listening. You can subscribe to us on all of your favourite apps, feeds, iTunes, and at our website, www.theinfiniteescaperoom.com. You can also get in touch with us via Facebook and Twitter at tier_podcast. If you've enjoyed the episode, then brilliant. Mission accomplished. We're glad we gave you a moment of joy. Maybe forward it onto a pal or post it to your grandma with an MP3 player, some headphones, and a battery, and instructions on how to use an MP3 player. Anyway, we love you lots, and we'll see you next time on the Infinite Escape Room. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.